When we shifted to a virtual format last year, we decided to stream all of these to YouTube so anyone from the public could easily view if they were interested. Last thing I need to do is just read our hearing script. This basically just covers the procedure of the hearing, and then we'll get started. So this is the December 1st, 2021 session of the zoning hearing examiner docket. My name is David Sturkey. I'm the zoning hearing examiner for the city of Cincinnati, and I'll preside over this hearing. The case before us today is case number ZH20210165. The purpose of this hearing is to allow applicants and opposing parties to testify and to offer and refute evidence and testimony. This hearing will follow the rules found in the zoning code and the supplemental rules of the zoning hearing examiner. All testimony and evidence that an applicant or any opposing party wishes to offer must be presented at this hearing unless someone has submitted evidence or testimony in the form of writing prior to this hearing. The applicant, the applicant's attorney, or the applicant's agent will first present the applicant's case. If there were anyone here from the public, they would then have an opportunity to speak after the applicant had presented its case. I'll give our zoning plans examiner, Trey Sheldon, an opportunity to provide testimony in addition to his staff report. And then in the event any party testifies or offers argument in opposition to this application, the applicant will have an opportunity to rebut that testimony and then make any closing statements. So for our purposes here today, we don't have anyone here from the public. Looks like everyone is here in support or as an applicant on the project. And so I will give each of you an opportunity to provide any testimony. You can orient it however you would like. You could even have, if you have your general counsel here, you can even have them ask you questions and walk you through it. I mean, really, however you want to orient it. I just want to hear about the project, why you think it's appropriate, why you think I should grant this conditional use approval. And that's pretty much it. So all or one of you can tell me about that. And then I'll give Trey an opportunity to provide testimony. I may have a few questions along the way, and then you guys can say anything you would like in closing. All right, after all presentations have been made, I will close the hearing. Decisions may be expected within 2 weeks. I may limit or exclude any testimony that I deem irrelevant or outside the scope of the application being considered. I may interrupt any speaker to ask questions or to make any comments. I may also refuse to consider hearsay testimony. That's generally evidence you want to introduce that consists of statements made by someone who's not present here today. In the event of any technical difficulties with our video conferencing technology, I'll do my best to troubleshoot any of those issues on the fly. But to the extent there's some defect that prevents us from meaningfully going forward with the hearing, I may continue or postpone the hearing at my discretion. Okay. Last thing I need to do is swear in all of our witnesses. So if you intend on providing any testimony here today, making any comments, asking any questions, really doing anything other than just strictly observing, then you need to be sworn in. If you're an attorney, you do not need to be sworn in. So if you believe that is you, if you could go ahead and take yourself off mute, raise your right hand. I need everyone to answer out loud. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you shall give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
I do.
I do.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right, who's going to be taking the lead here for us today on the presentation of this?
I'll kick it off since we are the applicant at Activities Beyond the Classroom. Activities Beyond the Classroom is a partner of Aiken High School. We are what's called the lead agency in Cincinnati Public Schools, which means that we employ Dana, who is the resource coordinator at ABC. And as the partner at Aiken, which is a school that has an agricultural pathway, we got involved as the applicant for this project. So we, as Activities Beyond the Classroom, as a partner of Aiken, are the ones who have applied.
Okay, great.
So our agriculture pathway is one of our most vibrant pathways. It has blossomed from just maybe a classroom of kids to up to 150 kids who actively chose to be in the agriculture pathway. It's growing so fast that it's hard to keep up. Mr. Parker, we have to give him pep talks sometimes. So we have a vibrant farm. We're doing some animal husbandry. We have pollinator gardens. We plan a future of, we have a greenhouse. And this high tunnel is going to be just a beautiful relationship between the College Hill community, the College Hill gardeners, and Aiken High School. We also grow food that is native to our kids, and it's such a beautiful outreach to our families. A lot of our kids are from international countries, and it's a great community outreach. So I see this as being just an essential next move and an expansion of what we have already.
Okay, great. Anyone else?
Yeah, I will speak as the
from the educator standpoint of how it adds value to our programs here at Aiken. I have, because of some leadership from our principal, I kind of was involved in the beginnings of our agricultural career tech pathway, and it is something that had been historically linked to our Aiken to our Aiken school. I have always had this agricultural background on this property. What would you mind if I share my screen?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Let's see now here. I normally do Google Meet, and so
It's at the bottom with the other tools.
Got it.
It's usually in green.
Is it sharing? I'm so sorry. Google Chrome. I'm so sorry. Going so nicely.
It's fine. Yeah, typically you hit the share screen and then it gives you the options of windows you want to put up.
Yeah, I'm trying to do my desktop. I'm sorry. Oops. It's saying I need to open up my system preferences, and I don't know why I need to do that.
Are you trying to open up a picture or drawing that's in the application packet?
No.
Okay.
Essentially, yes, Mr. Parker. There are similar pictures that we submitted with the application.
Shift up.
Because I have the application packet in front of me.
Okay, I am so sorry.
It's fine. If you need a minute to pull it up, that's fine.
I don't know. Maybe Miss Bierman, you could send it. You could share it. My computer's not sharing.
Yeah, you can. The pictures I shared with you, Mr. Parker.
Yes.
You could just
please.
speak to those because he can see that he has that application.
Okay.
Yeah, just tell me what picture you're trying to.
We're looking at image 1, the aerial view of Aiken High School campus. We are in a valley of woods down below. We are going to be placing it away from the school and away from any residential homes. As you scroll down on that document, we're going to zoom in. We'll see the topography of the land, and you'll see that we are about 80 feet. Oh, thank you very much. We scrolled down. That's a different document. Actually scroll up, I guess. We'll be able to see the
Yeah, that's all I've got there.
oh. You can show that. You can show that picture you just highlighted. That one. This is where our high tunnel is actually going to be located. It is down next to a 35 raised bed garden. You'll see that is the maximum size for the high tunnel. It is going to be an extension of our already set agricultural outdoor classroom learning area. We have a barn where we keep our tools in there, but you'll see how it's kind of coming off of our 35 fenced in raised bed garden. This is a program that was designed by the USDA to actually put high tunnels into the city limits, into urban areas, and so we are trying to provide this high tunnel so that we can extend the growing season, as Ms. Votas said, for our students who grow food, who take that food home. We can do that throughout the school year, even in the cold months. We are also partnering with our community partners beyond activities beyond the classroom, but also the College Hill Gardeners, we are going to be sharing this high tunnel with, in terms of their involvement with the high tunnel. They've been involved in each of the steps along with USDA, as our students have through this application process. Beyond that, from an education standpoint, what it does is it provides a flexible outdoor learning space where our students are not just going to be in the classroom, but they're actually going to be outside, and they can be outside during inclement weather days, because it is a covered growing area that can be opened up in warm months, but also closed up in the cold months too. So if you have any questions for me from an educator standpoint, I'd be happy to entertain that.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else from the applicant side that would like to provide testimony?
Just from the district standpoint, the Aiken High School, of course, is working in full cooperation with the district and its facilities department. We're fully supportive of the grant and the tunnel being constructed, the high tunnel being constructed. I think this application meets all the requirements for approval, and we're in full agreement with the staff's recommendation to approve this this application. So if you have any questions for anybody on the call, we are all available.
Okay, great. Ms. Bierman, did you want to add anything to the testimony that's already been shared?
Just to support what they said, the application is in full support of the curriculum of our agriculture pathway. And I think, meets the conditional use that it is requesting.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. As I look through some of the zoning standards here, I tend to agree with you all. Could anyone speak to neighborhood compatibility and whether the proposal is appropriately located, designed, and configured?
I could speak to our neighbors. Our neighbors come down to our garden frequently and help us with the watering. They're excited about this possibility, at least our most immediate neighbors. And I really don't believe it's going to be, when we're fully foliaged, it will not be an eyesore. It will be smaller than the barn, but it'll be large enough for a dynamic classroom. So I think our neighbors are fully in support. College Hill gardeners are a staple in the community.
Okay, great.
And I would just add that it is in a lower area. It is not in an upper visible area. It's in a lower depressed area, depending on the topography. In the document, it does say it's 80 to 90 feet below the residential grade. And set down in a forested valley. So it is not visible from any major road or really even from the school itself.
Okay, great. I think I'll give Trey Sheldon, the zoning plans examiner, an opportunity to provide any testimony you would like. Trey, anything?
Just to corroborate what they have indicated as far as the minimum, both the neighborhood compatibility and minimization of adverse effects here. I think they've already spoken to why it's programmatically perfect and a continuation of their ongoing agriculture track for their education. But speaking as to the neighbors, what Mr. Parker said is correct, and it is in my staff report that Tanglewood Lane is the closest residential development to the area for the proposed location here, where they already have a large accessory barn and growing beds. They're proposing some additional raised beds and then this hoop house. The closest of those dwellings on Tanglewood Lane is more than 400 feet from the area proposed here. When you zoom out on scale, or if you looked at figure 2 on my staff report, you'd note it's very, this is a large property. So it may not look at scale wise, but that's more than 400 feet away from the proposed location. And as Mr. Parker also indicated, I have this as being, I have a topography layer in there for you too, David, in my staff report. And this is far above, it's 75 to 90 feet higher. That ridge is where the residential development is. So it's substantially higher in elevation. So it's not going to obscure anybody's views. And then the entire downslope eastward from those the residential development on Tanglewood is entirely mature forest. It's big 100-foot tall trees, 100-foot tall trees all the way down to there. So I doubt most of the people wouldn't even know this was here if this was happening. the closest house might be able to see that complex of that area of the athletic fields in the dead of winter, but on a clear day. But for the most part, this is going to go unnoticed.
Okay, great. Anything else, Trey?
Not unless you have further questions.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I typically ask if there are any anticipated adverse effects at all from this project.
Not that I can perceive. I received absolutely zero negative feedback. I didn't receive really any inquiries regarding this at all. So I just have worked with Ms. Bierman from the get-go on this when they were first getting their grant from the USDA, and I was very pleased that they were locating it in this location, which allows them to have full light, and yet it's completely, it's almost ideal. It allows them to have full light. It's on a terraced area that's already got agricultural structures, and yet, despite it having full light and being out in the open for the photosynthesis for the plants, it's separated by mature forest by hundreds and hundreds of feet, and 75 to 90 feet in elevation difference. So it's almost like it was meant to be there. In terms of from a zoning standpoint and all the adverse effects you might have for other projects, this was an ideal location.
Okay. Thanks, Trey. Anything from anyone else in closing or otherwise before we adjourn here today? Okay, great. So I have had a chance to review the application. And based on that review and the testimony here today, I'm going to approve this application. And so what I need to do is formalize that decision in a written opinion. And so I will be working on that. I've got a little bit of a queue right now before the holidays, but that typically takes about 2 weeks. And so as soon as I finish it, I'll put it into a PDF. I'll email it to everyone who's in the hearing today. As soon as you have that decision, then Trey can get you started on the permit approval, and should be able to get the project going shortly. Any questions about any of that or any of the process or procedure going forward?
Just thank you so much for your reconsideration of this project.
Sure, absolutely. It sounds like a great project. Wish you guys the best. Thanks for all you do over there at Aiken. All right, great. Well, if you have any questions in the meantime, or you want an update on the status of the decision, please feel free to reach out to myself or to Trey, and we'll get back to you right away. Unless there are any other questions now, I hope you all have a wonderful evening, and